Welcome to the second of our 3 videos in collaboration with Bostik on the subject of adhesives and sustainable packaging. In the first video, we introduced the Sustainable Lamination Program concept and its 4 pillars. And in this episode, we're going to be exploring in detail the first of those pillars, namely environmental care and safety and regulatory. Cyril, environmental care is the first pillar of the SLP. Could you tell us about the objectives of this pillar?
Yes, sure, Tim. Let's go deeper into environmental care. One of the main issues of today's sustainability challenge is driving greenhouse gases towards a very, very low level. For us in our packaging industry, this mainly turns into CO2 emissions. So we at Bostik and Arkema, we have a strong commitment to reduce by 38% all the CO2 emissions in 2030 compared to 2050 in order to reach the further target at the EU level, which is carbon neutrality by 2050. You can imagine that being an industry in chemistry is quite of a challenge. So we have all kinds of programs in order to reach this goal and achieve this commitment. Now, having said that, there is another part, which is basically the SLP, that is addressing these CO2 emissions. So Bostik wants to be able to help our customers reach their own targets because, of course, you have the CO2 emission levels that you need to reduce at all stages of the value chain for the packaging industry.
Thank you, Cyril. Mark, could I ask you to expand on how these objectives that Cyril just laid out are reflected in Bostik's concrete activities and products?
Yeah, sure, Tim. Let's then have a focus on the first pillar on environmental care. The UHP 200 modular system, designed for retort application, is able to cure at room temperature within a very short period of time. Thanks to the co-reactant called CX we developed. This means you save energy and you reduce the carbon footprint. As well, let me think about the action we have on what we are leading in Asia, moving from solvent-based adhesive to solvent-free adhesive system. That's a way to save energy and to reduce the carbon footprint too.
Thank you, Mark. And let's move on to the second pillar now. Cyril, could you again give us some broader context on the safety and regulatory pillar and what that means for Bostik?
Yeah, sure, Tim. So food safety and also regulatory is at the heart of flexible packaging. There is by no means any way to put a packaging on the market that will contain food that will end up in a human body without paying attention to food safety. So in this program, we have to, of course, respect today's regulatory on food safety, but we also somehow have to foresee what could be the next limitations in food regulation, addressing also these new solutions that we will put on the market for recyclable, flexible packaging.
Thank you. And Mark, once again, could you tell us what these demands and pressures mean in terms of the concrete offerings Bostik have to develop?
Yeah, safety and regulatory. Really, what a strong pillar. We don't want to have any specific substances such as BPA, glycol in our adhesive system. We want to deliver a very low level of PAA, even being PAA free. I have in mind 2 examples. The aliphatic solvent-free adhesive system 760 plus H330 retortable grade, which is PAA-free. The UHP 200 modular system either produce a very low amount of PA or is PA-free. It just linked to the co-reactant you are using.
Thank you, Mark. That's all for this episode. Thanks again for joining us, and watch out for our final video in this series, in which we'll be talking about the two other pillars in the SLP, enabling circularity and efficiency. Thanks very much. Goodbye.